Pygame tutorial number 2. Today we're going to actually start to do some programming. So, we're in REPL.it. We made this new project. Make sure it's a Pygame project, not a Python project. And the first thing we'll need to program is just some stock code that you'll need to use in every single Python project. It's very boring, but and it's not easy to understand, but you just need to write it down and it works. So, the first thing we need to do is import the Pygame module. And what that does is it allows us to use Pygame. It allows us to reference Pygame. So, the way to import the Pygame module is import Pygame. And there we go. The next thing we need to do is initialize the Pygame engine. So, we've already imported Pygame, now we need to initialize it to make it actually work. So, how we do this is pygame.init, and then parentheses. And now we get to do some actual programming, but it's still kind of more stock stuff. So, we're going to make a variable called screen, and what this screen will do is this screen is our base surface, so we're going to be printing everything onto the screen. So we need to set the resolution of our screen, and the way we do that is pygame.display.set_mode, and then parentheses, and the variable we need to pass it right here in the parameters is a tuple. And bear with me if you do not know what a tuple is, but I'm going to demonstrate it. Okay, this is working. Just maybe need to get this a bit bigger. Too big. That's about good. Okay, a tuple. So, you may, if you know anything about Python, you may know what a list is. A list is a variable that can store multiple variables. So I may have a list that contains 4 true and hello, just as an example. Oops. Brackets. So that's how you write a list. It's a variable that you can store multiple variables in, and you can change these variables. It's almost the same thing with a tuple, except one of the differences in syntax is that it's parentheses instead of brackets. So in parentheses, you can just write the same syntax. For true, oops, that's not how you spell true, and hello. And you can store as many variables in a tuple as you want, same as a list. The only difference between a list and a tuple is that you cannot change the values in a tuple. You can if you really try, but generally you want to leave the values in tuples alone. So, so the values in tuples are usually constant. So, again, we need to pass this a tuple, and tuples instead of brackets, they're not brackets, they're parentheses. And we need to pass it 2 values, the width and the height of our screen. And we can make this whatever we want. This is going to be the width and height of our game. So let's try out 200 and 200. And let's run this and see how it goes. And actually, the first time you run this, it may take a bit to load, but focus your attention up here, because this is where you're going to be able to see it, only for a brief second. There we go. You just saw it flash for a brief second, and that's because we have not added our game loop yet, the thing that loops over and over and over to make sure that the game is running. But in that brief second that we saw it flash, I don't think that's big enough for our game. So let's the window is pretty small. So let's make this something like 500. Let's run this and see how big that is. Okay, that looks about good. Let's run this again so if you missed it, you can see it. There we go. Okay, so we have our window, but it's not very useful. A blank screen is not useful at all. So we need to add our game loop. If you watched the last tutorial, you probably know what a game loop is. It is the part that loops over and over and over again, checking input and just displaying stuff on the screen. So, if you got very into Python, you may know of while loops. While loops keep repeating based on a condition. So, as an example, I can make a while loop while var1 is less than var2, and then just type some code in here. So what this will do, I'm just making up variables right here. This will keep repeating and repeating and repeating until this is not true, until var1 is greater than var2. So yeah, but we don't need to do this because we just want it to continuously loop. So all we need to do is to write while true, and this will continuously loop, and that's what we want for our game. So while true, and this is now we need to just write some very, very stock boring code that just gets it working more. So this code, what it does is usually ooh, hold on one second, let me move this. So usually in games and in Windows in general, and like in any normal computer, you have your window just like in a game, and then you have this little X button up here, and if I press this X button, it'll close the window. And we want that to work. We want to make it so if I press the little X button, it'll close the game. So this is what this code does, and it's kind of janky. It's kind of just long and weird, but just stick with me and you can just copy it, and I'll kind of explain what's going on. So for event in pygame.event.get parentheses. And what this does is it gets every single event that happens, every single thing that happens in Pygame. And for every event, you want to check if I'm pressing the X button. So if pygame.event is equal to, remember, it's double equal signs because we're not assigning this value, we're checking if it's equal to something. And we're going to check if it's equal to pygame.quit. Quit is in all caps. And if it's equal to pygame.quit, if I've pressed the X button, then we're going to do this. We're going to do pygame.quit, this time with no caps. And then we're just going, and then what we need to do is we need to import one more library. We need to import one more module. And this one is called sys, S-Y-S. This is the system. It'll just help us close our application. Import sys. And then down here, after pygame.quit, we're going to write sys.exit, parentheses. And let's see if this is working or if I mistyped something. Let's run this. Oh no. Okay. Exit status 1, that's red, so I mistyped something. File main.py, line 10 in module. Line 10. Let's go to line 10. Let's see. Attribute error. Module Pygame has no attribute even. Oh, look what I did. Look what I did. I forgot the T in event. It's supposed to be event, not even. Oops. The console is so useful like this. It just tells me what I did wrong. Okay, now I'm going to run this again and hope I don't get another error. And there we go, look at this. We've got our window, and we've got the little X. And if we press the X, you can't really see it. Hold on. Let's see. Can we get the X to appear? Ah, REPL.it is being janky again. Let's see. Nope. Okay. REPL.it is being weird as usual, but this is stock stuff that you just need to have. And so we have created our window, and we will continue to do things like this, and in the next tutorial we are going to actually learn how to print stuff onto the screen. Thank you.